everybody. It has been a long time since I've made a video where I've recorded it and put it up on YouTube, but here we go. So a bit of a break, and I thought just before the exams, who doesn't need to revise some of their factorization? So this is for all the grade 9 students, especially for the June, July exams coming up. I always say June, July because for the 3-term schools and the 4-term schools, it all differs. So, but I hope you are all wonderful, and I would like to quickly go through factorization with you so that you don't pull out your hair like the man in this picture. All right, so let's quickly have a look at all the types of factorization that you can get. I always say first start off by looking, can you take out a highest common factor? All right, so that is the first port of call where you go, whether it's 2 terms, whether it's 3 terms. So the highest common factor can have any amount of terms, so any amount of terms. And the highest common factor is, you look, is there a number that is divisible by both or all of the numbers that has been given? Let's write an example, like if I've got 2x squared y plus 4x to the power 3y, and I say to you, factorize the following. You first start with the number. All right, so just always remember, we never, ever, ever start off with a negative. Okay, so if there's a negative, not in the middle, but in the front of your expressions. All right, so first take out, then we have to take out a negative. Then we're going to say, what number is divisible by both of these terms? And then you can say, okay, they've got a number that can both be, or the number that can both be divided with both terms. I'm saying that over and over again, is 2, but you catch my drift. Okay, so now we can take out a 2. What else? So if you've got an x squared and an x to the power 3, you take the one with the lowest exponent. Okay, so that is divisible with both terms. And then if you've got a y and a y on both sides, then you can definitely go and take out a y as well. So those 2 red numbers, that is what I've taken out as my highest common factor. So if I had to factorize that, I'm going to say I take out 2x squared y, and then what is left is always inside brackets. So now we're going to actually divide out both of those terms with 2x squared y, and then you'll be left with, so if everything gets divided by the same something, remember the answer that's left is 1. And for the next term, 4 divided by 2 is 2. X to the power 3 divided by x squared. When you divide, you subtract your exponents. So 3 minus 2 is 1. And we don't write that 1 normally. And y divided by y is just cancels out. So this is your answer, and that is what's left. So I can take that bracket back. So 2x squared y, and in brackets 1 plus 2x. And that is your answer. That's it. It feels like you want to do something else, but remember, factorize is just make many terms one term. So now we can see both of these are multiplied with each other, which means it is one term. Right, then we move on to the next type of factorization, and that is the difference of 2 perfect squares. Okay, and in short, I'm sure your teacher or lots of teachers refer to it as the dots. Okay, the difference of 2 perfect squares. Now, it's in the naming of it, people, how many terms it's going to have. It's going to have 2 terms. And very important, there is a minus in the middle. Okay, because it is the difference of 2 perfect squares. Okay, an example of that is when I've got, let's say, 16x squared y to the power 4 minus 49x to the power 4 y to the power of 8. All right, so very important, your exponents, with the difference of 2 perfect squares, your exponent has to be an even number. All right, because what you're going to do in effect is you're going to divide your exponent by 2, and only an even number can be divisible by 2. All right, so your setup is 2 brackets. In the middle, you've got a plus and a minus, or a minus and a plus, it really doesn't matter. And then I'm going to square root both of these terms, and that's the answer that I'm going to write into my bracket. So the square root of 16x squared y to the power 4 is 4x. Remember, there's an invisible 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. We don't always write the 1, or we don't write the 1. Y, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then with it's going to be the same in the next bracket. And then in your second term, in both your brackets, we're going to square root the second term over here, which is going to be 7x squared y to the power of 4. Okay, remember, you square root the number as normal, and the exponent you divide by 2. All right, okay, then we get to our last type of factorization. And we will do each and every type. I know with the highest common factor, you also get the highest common bracket, but we will deal with them inside our sums. Okay, all right, then you get your trinomial, and a trinomial always comes from 2 terms that has been multiplied together like that. All right, so it's 2 terms, your foiling, so it's the inverse of foiling. So let's just write your trinomials. Very important. It's going to have 3 terms. Okay, and I know lots of teachers teach it differently with the signs. If you don't really have a thing that works for you, sorry, if you don't really have something that works for you, then I will recommend that you look at what I'm doing over here. All right, so an example could be x squared plus 2x minus 8. All right, so 3 terms. What do we do from there? We're going to put it into 2 brackets always. Then we're going to look at the signs. At the back, we start at the back. All right, the back sign is a negative. So what does that mean? It means that the signs are going to be different. So the signs are going to either be a plus or a minus, or a minus and a plus. But which one goes first? And you look at the plus, that one goes first. So plus and then a minus, then the x splits, excuse my dog, and then you're going to say what times what is going to give you the back number. If you subtract those numbers, so you use that sign twice, it's going to give you the middle term, which is 2. All right, and I hope you can see 4 times 2, hey, 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 minus 2 does give you a positive 2. And with mine is always write the biggest number first. Now, can you see it's exactly like what I've written down over here? It has just been swapped around. All right, so it doesn't matter which bracket goes first, as long as both those brackets are exactly like that with the correct sign. Okay, then let's move on to the questions. All right, so these are the questions that we're going to do. We do start off with the 3 different sections. So you'll see first we're going to do the highest common factor, then the difference of 2 perfect squares, and then the trinomials. So it might be a little bit easy. It might lead you into that all of these are highest common factor. So just be mindful of that the teacher gives it at random. All right, so we will do one exercise where it's just at random, but let's do it baby steps by baby steps. These are all highest common factors. So what I want you to do is to copy these questions. If you have to press pause, copy the questions. You can go ahead and try them, and then unpause, and then I do it with you. All right, so let's look at the first one. Can you see that we can divide both of those terms with a 3? So if I go ahead and do that, then I know that my highest common factor is 3. That is what I'm going to take out. And if I then apply the division by 3, I'm going to have left x plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. With the next one as well, I can divide both sides with 4. I hope you could see that. That's the biggest number that you can. I always say, what is the biggest number you can squeeze out of both of those terms? And so I'm going to take out the 4, and what is left? X minus 2. All right, I'm going to go a little bit faster with these ones as they are quite easy. So I divide by 8 with both terms. So I'm going to take out the 8. So whatever you can divide out, you take out. And then you apply 8b divided by 8 is b. And the minus comes down. Then 16 divided by 8 is 2. All right, so now here we start adding variables that are also common in both terms. So I can squeeze out not just a 6, but they both have an n as well. So I'm going to squeeze out 6n. So I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to apply the division. 6mn divided by 6n is just an m, sorry, doubted myself there, plus 12n divided by 6n is 2. And that is your answer. Then the last one, again, I can squeeze out a 5, but they also both have a d. So this one has got 2 d's, but when there are variables, your base and the basis that's the same, you take the one with the lowest exponent. All right, and that is what I take out. So what is left? Only a d, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. All right, over here, I can only take out an x. So if I take out an x, what is left? X squared plus 2. All right, and there's nothing else that you can do after that. That is factorized. All right, I always say to you, check after you factorize, can you factorize even further? But we will get to those ones that are a little bit harder. All right, so if you want to try those, here's a few questions that you can do. I'm going to give a few seconds so that you can pause the video if you want, and then you can copy these questions and then see whether you can factorize these ones. And then I'm going to show you the memo just after this. So if you want to pause, quickly copy and try them, and then mark with me. All right, and there is the memo. I really do hope that you got each and every one right, and that you are able to factorize taking out a highest common factor. Let's look at the next section. All right, now we're going to look at taking out a highest common factor, but it's not one term that is common. It is a bracket that is common in both of the terms. So I always say, to make it easy for yourself, or if you need to visually see the two terms, highlight your two terms. Remember, a term is separated by plus or minus unless it's inside a bracket. So we've got the yellow part and the blue part. Those are my two terms. Now, if you look at the yellow part, I could have asked a grade 1-year-old to tell me what is the same from the yellow block to the blue block. Can you all see that it's got a highest common bracket of A plus B? So basically, both of them contain a bracket that is the same, not just a term, but a whole bracket. So that is what I'm going to take out. I can take out a highest common bracket of A plus B. Now, if I'm going to go and apply the division, remember always in brackets what is left. So those two brackets will cancel out. And then I've got a 2 minus, and again, those two brackets will cancel out. And the only thing that's left is that minus k. So that is your answer. Some students take a while to see the brackets. I always say, put on your laser eyes and show me what is the same from both terms. So let's see if you can try and spot the next one. Number B. All right, so again, from your two terms, if it helps, highlight your two terms. And in both of those terms, even if you have to, you can draw them a little bit separated from each other, or separate. Ach nee man. Redo. No, I'm going to give you a hiding. There we go. All right. So from your two terms, what is the same? They both have an x minus y as a common bracket. So that is what I'm going to take out as my highest common factor. And in brackets, I'm going to show what is left. So let's go and divide out. And what is left over here? A 2x. The minus comes down. And in this term over here, the only thing is the y that's left. And that is your answer. All right, I hope you can visually see what I'm trying to do, and I hope it makes sense. All right. Okay, over here, so I always say to my students as well, double check in both your brackets. Is there something same? I'm going to show you now what I mean with same. Okay, so number C, again with your two terms, I'm just going to try and separate them for you a little bit. And then it's hard to move that negative. All right, so what is the highest common bracket that's the same? I can see an x minus 2 over here, as well as another x minus 2 over there. So that's definitely my highest common factor. I'm taking out a bracket of x minus 2. Then after I apply the division, I'm going to do it on both sides. What is left? There's a 4x left minus 8. All right, but now I want you to double check. Is there something in one of the brackets that's like same? There's like something you can squeeze out of the second bracket. Yes, I can still go and divide by 2 with both of those terms in the second bracket. So that 2 you can take out. He can go and sit in the front. He can chill there in the front if he wants to. And then you just need to apply the division of the 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2x minus 8 divided by 2. Oh, no, man, sorry. Not a 2. You can squeeze out even more. I'm sure you're shouting, man, but what about it's a 4? Okay, let me just go over again. Sorry. So the biggest number you can divide out with is a 4 with both terms. Okay, sorry. So you take out a 4. He chills there in front. So what is left? X. See, we all make mistakes. X minus 2. And now I always say we're going to stacky it. All right. So if you've got two brackets that is exactly the same, we're going to stacky, and we're going to write it like this. All right. So this is fully factorizing. All right. So again, always after you factorize, double check yourself. Is there something I can squeeze out in one of the brackets? If there is, squeeze it out, pop him out. He goes and sits in the front or wherever. He could have sat at the back. It doesn't matter as long as he appears. And then if you've got same brackets, you have to stacky it. All right. And this is your final answer. Now, what happens if we've got two brackets that sort of look the same, but they're just not exactly the same? So your first instinct will be, I can go and take out an x minus 3. And then you say, but this thing is not an x minus 3. It's a 3 minus x. So it looks very much same, but it's not. So how can I make it the same? And this is what we call the sign change rule. I'm going to change the middle sign, and then everything thereafter, every sign thereafter is going to change. So I'm just going to rewrite it again for us. The front part I did nothing to, all right, but that minus becomes a plus. Then inside these brackets, the positive 3 is now a negative 3, and the negative 8 is now a positive 8. And do you see, if I just go and swapsies those two terms around, I will have exactly what I have in front. So my students know by now. They say, it's a sign change rule, change the sign and make the second bracket exactly like the first bracket. Okay, so you can just go and say, change the sign, make the bracket the same. Now you can say, all right, what can I take out? A highest common bracket of x minus 3. After I take those out, what do I have left? X plus y. All right, and that is your answer. So let me show you one more time just with number E. So what's going to happen? I'm going to change the sign. So do you see m plus 5n and 5n plus m? Oh, okay, wait. Sorry, with this one, you don't have to change the sign. Because when it is a positive, 1 plus 4 is most the same as 4 plus 1. Ne? So 5n plus m is the same as m plus 5n. So if you want to go swap it around, you can, just to make them both same. Or to show your teacher that you know that they are the same. So when you add two terms, you can just swap the two terms around because they are both positives. All right, and now you can say, okay, I'm going to take out a common bracket. And what is left? M. Now I want to show you this. Let me just, before you guys forget this, let me show you the long way where I take out a m plus 5n. And over here, a m plus 5n. So I take out the highest common bracket, and then after I divide it away, what do I have left? I've got a m minus, and remember, what is 5 divided by 5? It's 1. What is 3 divided by 3? It's 1. If you really want to, you can go and write, remember, in front of every bracket, if there's nothing, there's a 1. So what is left? M minus 1. All right, so please don't forget. Lots of you just write an M, you close your bracket and you think you're done. All right. Okay, then just the last example with the switcheroo, with the sign change. So I'm going to change the sign, and every single term thereafter, I'm going to change the sign. All right, so 3a, a minus 4, then the negative becomes a positive 6. And then I'm simply going to change and swap. So the negative a is going to become a positive a, and the positive 4 is going to become a negative 4. And they've got the same brackets. I can take out my highest common bracket. And then what is left? 3a plus 6. Immediately, there's something same in there. So what am I going to do? I can divide both of those terms with 3. So I'm going to pop out a 3. Pop it out and squeeze it out. And what is left over there? A plus 2. Okay, I hope it makes sense. So what I did is I divided here by 3 and divide by 3. So I basically took out a highest common factor of 3. And he can go, literally people go and stand anywhere. If you wanted to go and put him at the back, you could have. If you wanted to put him in the middle, you could have. I would just then recommend that you put it, or you have to put it in a bracket like that. That's perfectly fine because all those terms are multiplying with each other. But just most of the time, we pop him out to the front. All right, goody. And again, here's 2 questions that you can quickly have a look at. See whether you can factorize those 2 by taking out a highest common bracket, and the one you have to do a sign change rule. All right, and I'll show you the memo. So quickly press pause if you want to copy it, and unpause, and let's mark together. All right, and there's your 2 answers. I really hope that you got it right. Did you apply the sign change rule correctly? And did you swap the sign, swap the 2 terms and change the signs and then take out the highest common bracket? I hope so. All right, people, I know it's like a dead end, like I've just stopped, but I think otherwise it's going to get too long and then you might get bored. So I'm going to do another video. So if you enjoyed the highest common factor, especially also with the bracket, don't forget the highest common bracket, then please do like, subscribe, go. There's lots of videos for all to see. From grade 8, 9, 10, and some 11 as well. I thought, just to do something different, I'm going to add a picture of my precious Oma that I've lost a few years ago, and just, in loving remembrance of her. So every time, it's like all my videos are going up on the internet, and it's a legacy that I leave there. And maybe one day my kids are watching this, and I hope you remember precious Oma Naki. All right, so if you guys like the video, please go look. You will see that there's lots more, but look out for the next one that I will be loading up, that we will be dealing with the difference of two perfect squares and the trinomials. Have a wonderful day and lots of love. Cheers.